Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. My name as always is Jamie Hughes and today I'm going to be giving you my review of 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Now if you want to keep up to date with all the latest movie news and reviews, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and as always with my videos, this review may include spoilers, so you have now been warned. 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri is one of the finest stories I have seen in years in cinema. From the very first instance of this movie, from the very first scene, you are instantly grasped. You are so pulled in and hooked and interested in this story and these characters, and that just carries on throughout this movie all the way through. It is such a great story full of twists and turns and tragedy and comedy, and when you think you know what's gonna happen, they just completely change the script on you and you just are completely second guessing yourself once again. It was so layered and interesting. It was such a breathtaking film at points. There are bits in this movie, and this is one of the great things about this movie. Is it Shakespeare? And I'm not quoting the film here, but isn't it Shakespeare that said something like, it's very easy to walk the fine line between like tragedy and comedy because they're so similar. And there are points in this movie where, genuinely, I was holding back tears after one scene, and the very next scene, as in almost the very next shot, I was laughing my head off. It was so contrasting and so tonally different that it just worked, and it was so intriguing and layered, and I loved the story of 3 Billboards, Ebbing, Missouri. I absolutely loved it. Every single performance in this movie was stellar. It was top notch as well. I especially want to point out the performance of Frances McDermott, who played Mildred Hayes, who is the murdered girl's mother. She gave such an empowering, emotional performance. It's again, it was down to her that I think the success of this film has come. The kind of just straight-laced look but pain she had in her eyes throughout this movie was just so captivating and just heartbreaking to watch, as you kind of see the demise of this woman who was trying to keep herself together after dealing with the loss of her daughter. It was breathtaking, it was phenomenal, and not to go into too much detail with all the other characters and actors, but Woody Harrelson was brilliant, Sam Rockwell was brilliant, Peter Dinklage was brilliant. He had a great turn in it. Had a bit of a dodgy accent at the beginning in his first couple of scenes, but he definitely pulled that back. Lucas Hedges, for the small role that he had, I would have liked to have seen more of him, but he was brilliant. Every single person in this movie delivered and nailed it, and I think that is down to why this movie is so good and so successful, is that every single actor nailed it. And with having great actors, you obviously have well-rounded characters, and that was another huge positive for this movie, is that every character that was on screen, you kind of felt like you knew. You felt like they had a story. You felt a connection, an instant connection to them. And that was really, again, another huge positive for this movie. And I think why it is so good is that it was kind of like every character was relatable. It was either you felt something that you saw in yourself in them, or you knew somebody like them, and you were straight into it. You were straight into this connection. It was like slipping on a pair of shoes. You kind of felt like you knew all of these characters straight away. And one of the things that I enjoyed the most about this movie was the character progression of Dixon, who is the chief of police's, Chief Willoughby's deputy. And now he starts off as like a bit of an a-hole, a bit of an idiot. I can't use any more expletives, otherwise this video will get demonetized, and we all don't want that. And he's a real, what you perceive as a bad person, and you have a lot of early perceptions about him. But as this story progresses and his character progresses, it turns out that, he is a good guy. He wants to do right by everybody, and that is kind of, he puts himself in danger for these characters just to try and get them the justice he thinks they deserve. And I think that is one of the solely important things about this movie, is that every single character in it may be perceived in one way, but at the deep heart of it, at the deep roots of every character is good. Every character is a good person. They are just trying to look out for each other. They just may not be doing it in the right way, and that is what stuck with me so much throughout this movie. So the only kind of big talking point, and this is not a negative, I can't think of anything bad to say about this movie, but the only thing that I could be construed as negative, and I've thought about this a lot since I left this movie, is the ending. Now, the big spoiler warning here. Dixon and Mildred think they found the guy who raped and killed her daughter, but they can't clear it. The police have no evidence. They find out he lives in Idaho. They set out to go and kill him, and then the film ends without knowing whether they have killed him or not. They have a little conversation before the credits roll, which is, are you sure you want to go and kill this guy? And they say they don't know, and they will work it out on the way, and then the film ends. And now, this frustrated me, but I loved it at the same time. I mean, it's frustrating because you've sat through this 2-hour movie wanting to see justice, wanting to see Mildred get justice for Angela, her daughter, and then we will never know if she did or not. But then on the other side of the coin, I love this because it's like, that's real life. Mildred doesn't know who killed Angela. She still doesn't know. Deep down, she doesn't believe that this guy has, but she just wants justice. She wants to go out there and kind of rid the world of its evils, as it were. And I think it was just so true to real life, is that we don't get the answers we're looking for. We may never get the answers we're looking for. And that's how Mildred feels. And I think it just summed up her story perfectly by ending it before we got any sort of resolution, and I love that. And it was very reminiscent of other types of films that I've seen this year, especially like Manchester by the Sea and Patty Cakes, where it's just like real life gets in the way. Like, there is no happy ending for people. There isn't always a big climactic scene where the hero wins, and I think that is what just sums up this movie perfectly, is that even though everybody's good, they sometimes don't get the answer they're looking for. And I seriously urge you to go out and watch 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. It is breathtaking. It'll make you want to cry. It'll make you laugh. There are some really great scenes in this, and I loved every single second of it. And it's fantastic, and I can't give you any more hyperboles of how good this film is. Just go and see it. But if you have already seen 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, let me know what you thought about it, as always, down in those comments below. And if you did enjoy this review, then make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all the latest movie news and reviews. And if you did enjoy this one, as well, as always, give it a like, because it lets me know that you're enjoying these reviews. And thank you very much for watching this episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra.